Today, we're talking about the Money Manifesto. What do I mean by that? We are going to give you specifically what you need to do, what your daily behaviors you need to do in your market so that you can get the type of results that you want to get. Guys, what we're going to do is we're going to do a two-step process. Number one, we're going to figure out what the average size transaction is in your state. This is according to CoStar.com. For those of you that don't know who CoStar is, they're the largest aggregator of commercial transaction data. They've been around since 1987, and they're basically like the go-to kind of holy grail for commercial brokers, right? So when we need any sort of information, we go to CoStar. There are other competitors, but CoStar is the biggest and has been around the longest, bar none. Okay, so what I'm going to do, folks, is I'm going to go ahead and share my screen, okay? And what I want to do is something very, very simple, okay? And we've talked about this before. We've talked about how, Roger Bannister, right? He was the first person to run the 4-minute mile. Right after he ran the 4-minute mile, a feat that people thought was absolutely impossible. What did he do? Others started to break the 4-minute mile as well. Okay, and to this date, so a feat that they thought was impossible, over 1,650 people have broken the 4-minute mile. What is the point of what I'm telling you? The point is it all starts with belief. So let's go ahead and have you guys put in, do me a favor, type in what city and rather what an average deal is in your state. So look here, like if you are in Alabama, for instance, $1 million, multiply that by 0.03, and then that's what a 3% commission is worth in your city. So go ahead and type that in the chat, what that will be worth to you guys. Okay, so what one deal would be. And Tom says Crexy is getting better. Yeah, Crexy's playing catch up. But you know what? I'd always rather be Coke than Pepsi. Pepsi spends more money a year on marketing, right, and brand awareness, and Coke is still the lead competitor. Why? First to market, right? Okay, so Tom's got 45K in his market. Susan Riley's at 57K. Love it. Okay, what else do we have? Linda, what do you have? Linda, you should be 84 if I'm not mistaken, right? California? Yep. I'm jealous. You guys have like $2.8 million, right? Second only to Hawaii. And I think New York City is just like third up, right? Raj is 45,000. Good. Love it. Okay, so this is what we're doing, guys. So everybody, make sure you do this calculation right now. I want you to understand what an average size deal is in your market, okay? Very, very important, because the rest of the program, what we're going to be doing is we're going to be going over what I call the input calculator. What do your daily inputs have to be to get the output that you want, meaning the income that you want, okay? So I'm going to go ahead and stop sharing this, and I'm going to share with you, okay, what we call our input and revenue calculator. So this thing is super sweet. Not just because I created it, but realistically speaking, because it'll help you understand. Most people, in fact, do me a favor, type a 1 in the chat if you know exactly what you need to do next year, starting 2024, in order to make the money you want, or type a 2 if like you could benefit from understanding, what you could do better, or exactly what your inputs need to be. Because most people, they just figure like more is better, but they don't know exactly what they need to do, right? So what we're going to do is we're going to show you exactly what you need to do. And for the first person that types "that's me" into the chat in Zoom, okay, we're going to go ahead and do the numbers in your market for you. So whoever wants to type in "that's me," let me know. All right, let's see who's going to be the first one to type it in. That's me, Linda Padilla. Woo! All right, on top of it. All right, so here's what we got, guys. All right, what you see here, this is the Dark Horse Commercial Real Estate Training Input and Revenue Calculator, okay? Now, if we break it down, it's very, very simple, okay? What we do is we first start with a target revenue, okay? How much money we want to make, okay? And then we talk about our average deal size. And what I recommend, folks, okay, I would much rather you under promise and over deliver to yourself. And what I mean by that is be a little bit more conservative with your numbers. Because if you're conservative with your numbers and you put in the amount of inputs it takes to get to those numbers, if for some reason the numbers are come out better, or you double end more deals during the year, you're just going to surpass your goal. You with me, guys? So very, very important. Be conservative. So what I'm going to tell Linda to do is I'm going to tell her to take whatever the deal size is in her market, okay, and we're going to cut that in half. Okay, so Linda, you are in Southern California, right? So the average deal size is 2.8. Okay, let's put in here. So guys, so this is what I mean. I don't want to like blow smoke at you and say every single deal is going to be a big banger, right? But what we can do is we can be conservative with our guesstimations, and what that'll allow us to do is overperform at the end of the year, okay? Or have a margin of error for if we get sick or if we get taken away from our business, or we don't prospect every day, okay? Mind you, all of these numbers that we're figuring right now, okay, this is if you prospect 5 days a week and you hit your daily number. If you miss so much as one day, you got to make up for it in the rest of the days per year. Does that make sense, guys? Okay. So Linda, so we're going to take, so Linda, do me a favor and type in the chat what your target revenue is for next year. So I'm going to show you guys how to do this. And if you guys are typing and throwing numbers up in the chat, we'll give you a copy of this at the end. Okay. Free of charge, my holiday gift to you guys, all right? Because I want you guys to crush it next year. But only is when you are your ability to really implement is when you have clarity, right? Clarity helps you achieve what you want. Why? Because you have a very defined target. There's an old rule, an old saying that says, if you don't know where you're going, any road will get you there, right? But if you have a very specific North Star, okay, it makes it a whole lot easier to your goal when you have clarity over what you're trying to achieve. You guys with me? Type a 1 in the chat if you guys are with me, okay? So, all right, so Linda says 700,000. Love it, love it, love it. Okay, so for what that's going to mean is 700, okay? We're going to put in here. That's the first thing you do. This is how you input your numbers into this chart. Now, her average deal size in California is 2.8. So we're going to cut that in half. We're going to make it 1,400,000. Okay. Now, here's the thing. If she does a deal that's twice as large, right, then she doesn't have to do as many deals. But what you're going to see, okay, is what it's going to take for her to hit the earnings that she wants to get to. This is also assuming she doesn't double end any deals. Okay, so you can do bigger deals, you can double end deals. One deal might be equivalent of 5 deals. You know, if she does a $5 million deal, guess what? That's like 3.5 deals of the half of average size. Okay, but here's what I want you folks to see. If she is going to hit these numbers, that means she's taking half of the average size transaction, okay, which means it's going to net her $42,000 per side, which means in order to hit 700,000, she's going to have to make 16.7 $42,000 sides, which means she needs 1.39 sides per month. Does that make sense for everybody so far? Type yes in the chat if you guys are with me. Okay, it's very, very simple. We take 700,000. Okay, we figure out what the average size commission is for half of her state average. Okay, because again, we're being conservative with our numbers, right? And what this does is it all but guarantees that if she just does these numbers, she's going to crush her goal next year. Okay, because again, I'd rather err on the side of conservatism. Okay, so which means that she's going to need to do 16.7 deals at $42,000 per side in order to make 700,000. Which means if you take this 16.7, you divide it by 12, you get 1.39. Okay. What that means is she needs basically 1.4 sides per month. Basically a deal and a half per month, or 2 deals 1 month, 1 deal the next month, 2 deals 1 month, 1 deal the next month. Not crazy. Okay. So let's figure out what her daily behaviors need to look like to hit that. Remember, folks, when you're going after listings, which if you've never been on and listened to me before, you'll know that is our #1 priority. We can help you with leasing. We can help you with buyers. But if you want to make it to the top of the earnings pyramid, okay, it's going to be done working with sellers, period, bar none. Okay. So you can do some leasing. You can help out other clients. You can maintain relationships. That's fine. But the more time you spend going after sellers, the more chances you have of hitting the highest earnings. Okay, very, very simple. So let's look at this. In order for us to, what we have to do is we have to increase this monthly number so that this number, this listing sold, right, per month, is on a monthly basis, equals 1.39. Okay, so let's look at this. Let's look at, let's go 1,000. Type in 1,000, and when you hit this, boom, it automatically changes. Okay, we got to increase that by about 40%. So let's go to like 1,350. Okay, look at that, 1.34. Let's go with 1,390. Look at that. Okay, $13.95. Boom. Okay. So the way this plays out is in order for Linda to hit 1.38 sides per month, okay, what that means is she needs to do 1,400 dials, which is 66 a day. You can do that with a headset in about an hour and 10 minutes, okay, right? Which means 328 weekly. So if she misses one day, she's got to do an average of 66 daily, okay? Which means you have to hit it every single day, day in, day out, okay? So how many of you guys type a 66 in the chat? How many of you believe that you could pick up the phone for between an hour and a half with a headset on, make 66 dials if it meant you were going to make $700,000 next year? Type 66 in the chat. Garrett's with me. Yep. Okay. Susan, you with me? All right. Folks, okay, there are a lot of people that have a lot crappier jobs than picking up the phone in an air-conditioned office and talking to strangers. Trust me, folks, I used to be one of them, okay? When I got out of college, I was snaking toilets for $8 an hour as a plumber. I promise you, calling strangers in an air-conditioned office wearing nice, fancy, clean clothes is an easy job. This business is simple. It's not easy, okay? If your biggest worry is where someone is mean to you on the phone, you don't have that many worries. You with me, guys? Okay. So my point is 66 dials a day to make $700,000. Folks, do you know that 1% of earners earn $428,000 and up, right? So like this is a sliver of the population makes this kind of money. This skill is so valuable that in between an hour and a half a day, right, in Linda's market, because it's a $2.8 million average sale price, it is completely possible to do that. Do you know how to make sure your phone doesn't turn into a spam caller after that many calls? Great question, Ignacio. Yes. A couple things that you can do. You can get multiple lines. I have 2 cell phones and 2 Google Voice numbers, right? Rotate them. Worst case scenario, once a week, call yourself from one of your other numbers. Skype has $2.99 a month phone numbers, right? And just make sure you're keeping up, right? Make sure, like, just call yourself once a week. Just make sure, rotate your phone numbers. It's a very good way of doing that. Great question, Ignacio. Okay. Now here's something I want to point your attention to. So we all agree that if we could live in Southern California and make 66 dials a day, that we'd be willing to do it to make $700,000 a year, right? That's really, really good money. Okay. Now, let me tell you, I mean, would you guys be interested if I could show you a way to do it without making 66 dials a day, for Linda to make $700,000 next year without doing that? You guys would be interested in knowing how? Okay. This is how we get better at doing it. Yes, of course. Yes, sir. Okay, here we go. Watch this, guys. So our average pickup rate, okay, if you are researching properly the way we teach you how, is between 12 to 18%, okay? So right now, D to C, guys, that's dial to contact, right? So it means pick up the phone, dial the numbers, contact, which means you speak to the person that you believe to own the property, okay? So this number here is assuming that Linda is only getting through to 1 out of 10 people, okay? In a average kind of what I call KPI, right? The key performance indicator is between 12 and 18%. Guys, let's not go to the 18%. Let's just go to 12, which is the lower end of the what I would consider the acceptable range. Watch it, how fewer calls Linda has to do in order to be able to make the same amount of money. Watch this. 10%. Let's just bump this to 12% and watch what this does to this number here. Whoop. Okay. Look at that. Now, 1,395 dials is 1.6, because what's happening? She's getting through to 2 more people out of 100, but it's 20% more, right? So what we're going to do is we're going to then drop this number down so that this number equals this number. Okay, so watch this. So instead of 1,395, let's say it's 1,250. Let's see if that did it. Nope, it's less than 1,250. Okay, we're going to go from 1,250 to, let's go to 1,220. Whoops. 1,220. Still a little bit less. Let's go to 1,200. Boom. How about this? 1,150. Not bad. Okay, 1160. Okay, see what I'm doing, guys? It's close enough, right? So instead of having to make 66 dials a day, if she were to do her research just a little bit better, scrub her list a little bit, and instead of getting through to 10 out of 100 people, she got through to 12 out of 100 people, folks, over the course of 1,100 dials, right? She's going to have to only make 55 dials a day in order to get through. Very important. Make sense, guys? It's only 2 more dials per 100, but to go from 10% to 12% is a 20% increase, okay? She gets 20% better contact rate. Boom, the amount of dials she makes drops considerably. Make sense, folks? Okay, that's the top of the funnel. From the dials to the connects. Now, from the connects, what are we trying to do? We're trying to set a meeting, okay? We're trying to set a listing meeting. So from connects to meetings, what this says is if Linda picks up the phone and 1 out of every 5 people she talks to on the phone gives her a meeting, right? That's a 20% conversion. What if Linda, instead of 1 out of every 5, 1 out of every 4 would be 25%. That's a pretty big jump. Let's just say it's 22.5%, right? So we're just going to go 2.5. Okay. What would happen if she just got a little bit better? You know, and can anybody tell me? Type in the chat. Okay. If my students, you guys can let everybody know, what's the fastest way to get better, a better ratio from connects to meetings, right? What is the one thing that we need to execute better on a call? Type it in the chat, please. Okay. What do you think that is, folks? To get just a little bit better, just a little bit. What do you think that might be? Okay. Yep, practicing the calling script. Exactly. To get better at your script, to get better at handling objections, to get better at all these things. Okay. Very, very important. Exactly. Yes, Janet. Yes, Katya. Yes, Olga. Yes, yes, yes. Okay. So now look at this, guys. She got just a little bit better. She got 10% better. She went from 20% to 22.5%. Okay. So, but look at this. This number popped up again. So let's drop this number down. Let's go to 1,050. What does that do? Yeah, look at that. 1,040. Boom, close enough. Okay. So now, folks, when we started this, since then, okay, Linda got she got 2 more people out of 100 to pick up on the phone. Okay. She got instead of 1 out of every 5 people gives her a meeting, 1 out of every 4.5 people gives her a meeting. She got 10% better at her scripts. Make sense? From 20 to 22%, 22.5%. Make sense, folks? Okay. Look at this. Remember in the beginning, she had to make 66 dials a day. Now she only has to make 49 dials a day. Okay. And mind you, these numbers are based on half of her state average. You with me, guys? These are conservative numbers here. Okay. And just remember, folks, you'll hear me say this once, you'll hear me say it 1,000 times. People might tell you stories, but the numbers will never lie. 1 and 1 will always equal 2. Okay. That's why I'm so adamant about my students measuring their numbers, tracking their numbers. Because if you aren't tracking your numbers, you don't have any reference point to go back to. It's like having a map. If you can write down all your numbers, you'll see when you're getting better. You'll see what the weak spots are in your game. Okay. So now from meetings to listings, okay, 15% is like 1 out of like 7. Okay. What if instead of 1 out of every 7 people gave Linda a listing, 1 out of every 6 people did? What about that, guys? Okay. So, but first of all, type in the chat, folks, what you think you would need to get more people to give you listings. What could you improve upon so more people would give you listings? Let's type it in the chat. Let's see what you guys think. Let's see what we got here. Dun, dun, dun. What do you think, guys? So when you're at the meeting, yep, Raj, good stuff, buddy. Yep. You got to be better at your listing presentation. You got to get better at your scripted listing presentation. Very, very important. Okay. So let's do that. Let's do the numbers. Let's say Linda got a little bit better at her meetings. And instead of every 1 out of every 7, 1 out of every 6. So let's go from 15% to let's go like 17%. Okay. Just a little bit better at her listing presentation. Okay. And then this went, look, guys, this number crept up from 1.39 up to 1,040. Let's drop that down to 980. Let's see what that does. No, 950. No, still too much. 900. A little bit, 920. Let's go with that. Okay, you guys see this? Okay, because remember, these are the amount of sides needed per month. Folks, it went from 66 to 43 dials only because Linda got a little bit better data, a little bit better at delivering her scripts on the phone, and a little bit better at her listing presentation. Does this make sense, folks? Type a 1 in the chat if this is making sense to you, right? This is pure numbers, pure analytics. Period. End of story. Okay. Good. Now, the last thing I want for us to look at, okay, is what is the last part? You get the listing. Now, from listing to sale, okay? So LS, listings sold, 33%. That's 1 out of every 3 properties she lists sells. What if she just got a little bit better at that and it went from 33% to 35%, a very modest increase. You with me, guys? Okay, so mind you, what I'm trying to show you is the tiniest little shifts in your data, in your scripts, in your listing presentation, and in your pricing. Remember, folks, the better you price a property, the more likely it is to sell. Taking better listings, better quality listings, right? The better they are to sell, the more likely they are to sell. Okay. So let's just say she got just a little bit. She went from selling 1 out of every 3 properties to 35%. So from 33% to 35%, a small nudge. Look at this, guys. Let's go with this. Okay. Dang, this is pretty low. Let's go with that. Okay, there we go. Okay, cool. So folks, rather than having to make 66 dials a day, which we all agreed upon at the beginning, if we could make 66 dials, would we be willing to do it to make 700 grand a year? You better believe it, right? We don't have to make 66 dials if we get a little bit better at our scripts, a little bit better data, a little bit better at our listing presentation, and a little bit better at getting your listings sold. Okay, look at this, folks. 41 dials a day. Okay, any of you, if you look at this, right, or would you guys type a 41 in the chat if you'd be willing to make 41 dials a day every single day? Folks, you cannot expect to do this one day and then take 2 days off and then do it another day. You can't brush your teeth 14 times on Sunday. It's not how the game is played. It doesn't work that way. There's a cumulative effect. Okay. Very, very important to understand. Okay. Ignacio says, does this work for CRE? 100%. This is based on commercial real estate. How often does the Excel sheet need to be updated to have up-to-date information? You could update it quarterly, Ignacio. The reality of it is, as you practice your skills and get just incrementally better, it'll take time for you to do it. But if you did it quarterly, if you did it monthly, that's way more than you need. What I'm trying to get everybody to understand is, as long as the numbers are in line with what's going in your business, this is how you track. This is like the compass for your business. Think of how like Columbus and Magellan and all these guys, like they didn't have an iPhone. They didn't have a GPS. They had the stars, they had a compass, they had a sundial. That's how they circumnavigated the world, right? All because they had something to go on. They had a direction, a bearing to go on. So what we do is we show you what you need to do in your market, and then we show you how to track your numbers, right? And then if you're tracking your numbers, you'll be able to apply this to your business. Guys, type North Star if this is helpful. Like if you can see how you could adapt this to your business, right? Would I provide a script? Absolutely, if you're one of my students, right? But yes, we give our students scripts, and we also give them practicing on the tonality of scripts, how to deliver them, how to deliver the objection handling and everything. So yes, that is all part of our program, right? So folks, do you see, is this starting to make sense now? Because what we have done over time is we've taken a very complex process and we've broken it down to 4 conversions. The amount of dials that turn into contacts, the amount of calls that turn into meetings, the amount of meetings that turn into listings, and the amount of listings that you get sold. If you can control those 4 variables, you can predict your outcome for next year. Make sense, guys? Okay. So Linda, is this something that you'd like to do? Right? Does this give you a little bit more clarity? Right? And would you agree that even at the beginning, with dials to connects of 10% and calls to meetings of 20%, these are all pretty conservative numbers. When I told you guys before, this is simple but not easy. It's very simple for me to tell you, pick up the phone 5 days a week for 60 to 90 minutes and make your 41 dials or 55 dials or 60 dials. Very simple. It's very simple for me to point you in the right direction. But where most people fall down is on the consistency, right? That's where we come in. We come in to help you be consistent, to put you in a community with other people doing the exact same business model, to give you the help that you need, the support and the guidance, okay, along the way. We have you put your numbers in on a regular basis, on a daily basis. Our students report their numbers. So we know exactly what's going on in their business and we can help them make adjustments accordingly. Okay, folks? So if you folks want a copy of this, right, type hashtag that's me so that you can predict what you're going to make next year. Okay, if you want clarity in there. All right. And then the most important thing, folks, is if you want the opportunity to understand if you want to take your business to the next level next year. Okay. If you want to take your business to the next level, have guidance along the way, have support along the way. If you want to make 2024 your best year yet, all right? A lot of people sat here on January 1st and said, you know, this is going to be my year. Guess what? There's a new January coming up, and where we'd love nothing more than to help you hit your highest level yet, okay? Cool. All right. Perfect. All right. So guys, I'm going to go ahead and share with you this document. All right. Anyone with the link can get it. Here we go. Most importantly, so go ahead and click on that. Save a copy. Do not ask for access. If you ask for access, I will not give it to you. I don't want you modifying this document and screwing it up for everybody else, but you can just go here, click on make a copy. Okay. Very, very simple. Yep. There are basically a little more than 2 weeks left in the year, okay? When the eggnog wears off and the hangover from the New Year's Eve champagne comes, you're still going to be the same you unless you do something different, okay, folks, right? So if nothing changes until you do, I want nothing more for those of you to hit your goals next year, and the fastest way to hit your goals is to have a roadmap to do so, okay? Without a roadmap, you are literally driving in the dark, okay? So very important, click on the link. Let's book a call. Let's see if we can help you and see if your business is in the right position for us to help you and so forth. And we look forward to speaking with you. Folks, thank you so much for being here. Looking forward to speaking with you, some of you this week. And I look forward to talking to you all next Monday, same time, same place. Thanks again. I'll talk to you later.